Good morning, my name is Josh from CyclonesOZ, and today another detailed forecast update coming your way for November 26, 2024. We've got a lot to get through today. We're going to be talking about some heavy rainfall expected to materialise across parts of New South Wales, south central Queensland, and also into the Blue Mountains inside Victoria, New South Wales. A bomb cyclone is causing that over in the Great Australian Bight. You might be able to make it out right now in the satellite picture. There's some heavy rainfall from thunderstorms and tending towards rainfall for the Northern Territory, and also some heavy rainfall expected across far northern Queensland. And we'll wrap this video up as well with tropical cyclone coverage for the first time this cyclone season. All of that plus more coming up in today's weather forecast. And if you are brand new to the channel, please consider subscribing. But let's get stuck straight into things over in New South Wales, Queensland, and Victoria. Just zooming in down here, this not tropical cyclone, rather this extratropical cyclone moving through the Great Australian Bight at this time. It's a beautiful system on the satellite picture here, swirling around south of WA. This is going to be causing some significant problems in terms of rainfall for parts of eastern Australia. And I'm going to break down what I mean in that right now. So you can see showers and thunderstorms moving through central parts of South Australia throughout the course of today, and in fact this afternoon we're expecting quite an outbreak of thunderstorms, potentially severe ones across South Australia, but tomorrow night is going to be the real deal. You can see the moving into New South Wales into early tomorrow morning. We could have some heavy thunderstorm and some strong showers somewhere in towards the southeastern corner of in the southwestern corner rather of Queensland. Getting my geography completely frazzled this morning. Some thunderstorms as well extending as far north as Birdsville and Bedore south of Mount Isa, and then showers turning to rain at times with the odd thunderstorm mixed in there into the western half of New South Wales. Now this rainfall does temporarily ease off through the early hours of Wednesday morning, but it's going to be like a typical low pressure system in the sense that once it gets itself moving into the Bass Strait, it fires up a round of thunderstorms, or a significant round of thunderstorms, into the afternoon hours. And we've seen this a couple of times this year already, especially if you live in Victoria. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. On the back side of the main cold front, which is going to be moving through into the more central towards the eastern parts of New South Wales, with showers tending to rain at times around Dubbo, Parkes, Orange, and then extending down towards Canberra, and then some of the higher Blue Mountains around Kosciuszko and Thredbo. Behind that, you're going to have a wave of thunderstorms here, and some substantial ones are possible into the Melbourne area, or at least south of Melbourne around Geelong and Avalon. You'll also see some strong thunderstorms around Bendigo and Ararat. You'll see those thunderstorms moving into Albury and Shepparton later on in the afternoon and evening. Probably by about nightfall, you'll see those thunderstorms moving into the Albury area, and then rainfall as well expected for Tasmania, and those storms going to pipe up early on Thursday morning, bringing some significant rainfall totals to Tasmania throughout the course of Thursday, especially along the west coast. We could be seeing accumulations up towards 150 millimetres for the communities such as Waratah or Mount Reid especially could pick up some substantial rainfall accumulations. It's been a while since we talked about Tasmania for rainfall, that's for sure, so probably quite refreshing to see a bit of rainfall on the forecast there. But yeah, certainly some substantial thunderstorms possible across Victoria tomorrow afternoon, especially with some warm temperatures that are expected throughout the course of tomorrow. You're looking at temperatures into the high 20s and early 30s for some locations until those thunderstorms do begin to pipe up. And another thing that I would like to add, like I said, around Thredbo, Cabramatta, and some of the communities into the higher elevations across the highlands of New South Wales and Victoria, because the rainfall is going to get itself jammed up against those mountains, the rainfall accumulations there are very likely to blow out. And what I mean by that is there's going to be some substantial falls on the forecast. Take a look at this. Over the coming couple of days, I'm going to do a 3-day forecast here right out towards Thursday, so you can see over the next kind of 60 to 72 hours, rainfall accumulations expected to be in excess of 100 millimetres, especially across the high country of Victoria, around Mansfield and north of Omeo, some of the higher peaks around Mount Buller. Some significant rainfall accumulations possible there, so that'll be a bit of a dam filler. Certainly get some water into the creeks up there, and then some good rainfall accumulations also possible into the high country of New South Wales. Probably not as much, but still to the 9 a.m. on Thursday morning, I would not be surprised if we were seeing a lot of 100 millimetre plus accumulations across the highlands of Victoria and New South Wales. In terms of rainfall across the more sort of plains country around Bendigo and Ballarat in Victoria, rainfall accumulations shouldn't exceed 30 millimetres depending on what thunderstorms move through where. I'd say a good number is between 5 and 15 millimetres for the majority of the places through here, potentially a little bit more, especially as you get closer towards the mountains. Melbourne, I can't see getting more than 10 millimetres, and depending on how thunderstorms behave as well, I don't think Geelong's going to get more than 10 millimetres as well. However, all it takes is one good thunderstorm to move there and tip the scales in the way of a significant amount of rainfall for one particular town, and that is entirely possible on tomorrow's forecast as well. Into interior parts of New South Wales, especially around Ivanhoe, Hillston, Griffith, where they are struggling a little bit for rainfall, there's some good rainfall on the forecast now, between 25 and 50 millimetres for those locations. And in fact, because it is going to be coming from steady rainfall and at times a couple of thunderstorms to top things up a little bit, a lot of interior parts of New South Wales, especially into the western half of the state, Friday, actually going to pick up some good rainfall accumulations between 15 and 45 millimetres, and probably actually a little bit more for some locations as well, especially as you get closer towards the mountainous areas. Griffith and Wagga Wagga are still struggling for a little bit of rainfall, but it looks like they've got a good shot of around 30 to 40 millimetres coming through here. Now, the rainfall has been back down on the forecast as well. There's still a lot of stuff coming through on Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and you can see it here on this forecast here throughout the course of Thursday, from substantial thunderstorms that are expected to fire up here and there, and then thunderstorms turning to rain showers at times throughout Friday. In fact, pretty much consistently through Friday and then into Saturday morning. We're expecting this front to bring some very heavy rainfall accumulations here and there from Friday evening through Saturday morning and into early Saturday afternoon across the northeastern parts of New South Wales, and then severe thunderstorms Saturday night are possible around the southeastern corner of Queensland into the northeastern corner of New South Wales. Again, the forecast for that looking pretty uncertain this time, but some heavy falls nonetheless expected on Saturday afternoon and evening into the northeast of New South Wales. And as you can see, reciprocated amongst the forecast models here, some substantial rainfall accumulations are possible. So this is between Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then into Sunday morning. Accumulations will be averaging between 50 to 100 millimetres for communities such as Moree, Narrabri, Tamworth, Coolah, down towards Mudgee, Orange, and Lithgow, Bathurst as well. Some substantial accumulations expected there. And then another pool of substantial rainfall accumulations around Grafton, Yamba, and Coffs Harbour up towards kind of 70 or 80 millimetres expected there. The majority of that coming through on Saturday, especially into Saturday afternoon, and the majority of this rainfall here in the kind of the big swathe of aqua to blue colours that you're seeing here coming through Friday night into early Saturday morning. So some substantial rainfall accumulations overall for pretty much all of New South Wales, and you can see on this forecast here, this is rainfall for the remainder of the week extending out to midnight Sunday night into Monday morning. Rainfall accumulations over the next 5.5 days exceeding 120 millimetres across the high country of Victoria and New South Wales, and then widespread accumulations above 80 millimetres across interior parts of New South Wales, especially in this area here into the, I believe it's the Northern Rivers. I'm not 100% sure about what the meteorology classifies this area here in their forecast districts. I should really brush up on my geography on that, but still some substantial accumulations expected there, and some good accumulations also expected into the southeast of Queensland on Saturday and Sunday, but we'll touch on that in a future forecast update. It's still a little bit uncertain, a little bit dicey for me to make a proper forecast on those rainfall accumulations into Queensland for now. What isn't dicey on me making a forecast is rainfall accumulations expected to pipe up from this weekend into Queensland's far north and even parts of the central coast, expecting to get some good rainfall as well. Bundaberg shouldn't get too much rainfall, same deal with Agnes Water and Rockhampton, a couple of millimetres possible there from showers and thunderstorms on Saturday and Sunday night, and also in towards Monday and Tuesday, a few showers lingering here and there. But in terms of rainfall, not too much on the radar for Bundaberg, Agnes Water, Gladstone, Rockhampton, then up towards Ogmore. So again, people there which are also quite thirsty for some rainfall, they're going to be pretty disappointed by this forecast. There's not too much on the cards, but once you get further north of Mackay, especially from about Friday afternoon onwards, there is going to be some very good rainfall. So I'm going to break this down, or try to break this down day by day. This is kind of the limit that I can go for a day-by-day forecast, just in terms of the complexity of this weather event and how much there is. But you can see from Thursday afternoon onwards, there's going to be a lot of thunderstorms piling on into interior parts of Queensland around Cloncurry and Mount Isa. Expect some significant rainfall accumulations there. Julia Creek's already picked up a boatload of rainfall in the last month, so more rainfall possible there will likely cause some substantial flooding. So again, Thursday afternoon and Friday afternoon as well. Those thunderstorms into the western half of Queensland, they can bring a ton of rainfall there. In fact, it catches a lot of people off guard, especially when I talk about in these videos, talking about rainfall accumulations in a true desert part of Australia exceeding 150 millimetres over a 6-hour period. And it's not like it happens once every 5 years, it happens multiple times a year for some of these locations here. So it does definitely catch a few people off guard. It looks like Thursday and Friday as well, the chance of that happening is substantial. Some big thunderstorms expected around Croydon and Georgetown on Friday, and then some big thunderstorms also expected throughout Saturday, potentially severe ones around Charters Towers, Huendon, and then extending towards the coast around Ingham and Cardwell. It will tend to rain at times around Ingham and Cardwell on Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon, and again, Townsville not expecting too much in the way of thunderstorms either. Saturday night, a bunch of thunderstorms expected to blow up, extending deep into the Cape York Peninsula as well, so inland communities, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of rainfall there, but unfortunately for the Atherton, Tablelands, Ravenshoe, that sort of area where the rainfall is desperately needed, it doesn't look like it piles on Saturday. Sunday, though, could be a different story. We're looking at the chance of some significant thunderstorms right along the coastline between Cooktown and Lockhart River, extending down towards Mackay and inland from Mackay as well. We're looking at the chance of some significant thunderstorms here, so we will keep a very close eye on things. But Sunday, to open up December, it looks like the rainfall is going to really pile itself on up across the far northern reaches of Queensland. You can see those thunderstorms piling on into the Atherton tablelands. Unfortunately, considering that this is from thunderstorms and I'm not seeing any sign that this is an onshore flow, there's no wind driving this rainfall ashore here, it's just purely convective. The rainfall here could be very hit and miss, which is going to upset a lot of people that do desperately need the rainfall across the Atherton tablelands, especially in Atherton and Ravenshoe. They're just parched right now, and then out towards Mount Carbine and Chillagoe as well, just absolutely parched, bone dry. They do desperately need this rainfall, and unfortunately for some people it is going to be very hit and miss on whether they get it. Thunderstorms everywhere Saturday afternoon and into Saturday night as well, and then thunderstorms and showers and tending towards rain at times across the Cassowary Coast, Innisfail and Tully on Monday morning as well. You can see that showers and rainfall also piping up there, and then it looks like we get a bit of an onshore flow / tropical wave move through on Monday night into Tuesday morning. I really can't make sense of this forecast here, but it looks like an onshore flow does begin to pipe itself up on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday for the far northern reaches of the Cape York Peninsula, and a few showers also expected Wednesday and Thursday into the early half of the week of December. You can see a couple of showers expected to pile on there, but again, it is a bit of a difficult sell, this forecast here. I'm not 100% sure of what to make of it, and I'm going to have to revisit this at a later time. But before we get to that and another forecast update, let's take a look at the rainfall accumulations. You can see up towards 150 or 160 millimeters further inland. This is very remote parts of Queensland, so again, no real communities or no population centres have to worry about this rainfall. Chillagoe on this forecast could get up towards 100 millimeters. Same deal with Georgetown and Croydon. Again, from thunderstorms, these communities could pick up nil, or they could pick up a boatload of rainfall, so it's still a very hard forecast to sell at this time. Closer to the coast, however, especially along the Atherton tablelands, just with that signal that we're getting for rainfall on Sunday, it's going to be a lot more consistent. Some substantial falls expected outside of Tully, Babinda and Innisfail, especially from the rainfall expected next week. I would be surprised if over the next 10 days Tully and Innisfail both didn't pick up 100 millimeters of rainfall. Cairns could also see some good rainfall on Sunday, up towards 20 millimeters of the stuff, and then Atherton and Ravenshoe between 5 and 30 millimeters expected for both Sunday and Monday out there. I think that's a good number. Again, it's a lot of uncertainty with this rainfall, but it is still from thunderstorms, so very, very hard to predict. Townsville, I think the forecast is being a little bit overbaked here. I would be surprised if Townsville picked up more than 50 millimeters over the next 10 days. The majority of the rainfall coming through on Sunday, Monday and Tuesday from showers, especially on Monday and Tuesday, and then inland out towards Charters Towers as well from those thunderstorms expected this weekend. Some good rainfall also possible there as well, so that is great to see. And then good rainfall as well extending into the western half of Queensland out towards Mount Isa, Julia Creek and Cloncurry as well. Some good rainfall expected there, and deeper up into the Cape York Peninsula as well. Need I say more? It's the wet season now, and some good rainfall also expected there. Now into the Northern Territory, which we have been talking about quite in depth over the last couple of days, but this is something that is, or has changed a little bit overnight. So we are expecting more good thunderstorms over the coming couple of days, and you can see from the satellite picture last night we saw plenty of thunderstorms pile on across the northern parts of the Northern Territory. But again, I didn't see as many as I would have thought, considering how much rainfall was actually on the forecast here. So I think the forecast was a little bit aggressive for last night. I think for tonight it looks completely valid. I mean, with a combination of convective available potential energy, the humidity values, the instability values, everything's going to align for a pretty gnarly thunderstorm outbreak across parts of the Northern Territory and in the Kimberley region of WA, both tonight and also tomorrow night, or tomorrow morning as well. There's going to be plenty of thunderstorms, and then tomorrow night even more thunderstorms across interior parts of Queensland, interior parts of the Northern Territory, and then into Arnhem Land and also the Kimberley region of WA. Plenty of thunderstorms for tomorrow night as well. Thursday morning we're going to have a bunch of thunderstorms moving through kind of the Elliott and Wave Hill area, extending up towards Kununurra and Katherine. Then Thursday night a bunch of thunderstorms expected around both Tennant Creek and Elliott once again, moving further north for Friday morning, where they will get into the Darwin metro area and communities around it. Darwin probably going to miss out on thunderstorms on both Thursday and Friday night by the looks of things. Friday night's actually going to be a pretty tame night, all things considered. You can see a couple of thunderstorms expected here and there, and then Saturday night onwards it returns to pretty much the stock standard Arnhem Land thunderstorms by the looks of things. So all in all, everything looks pretty stock standard up there. There's plenty of thunderstorms for storm chasers or thunderstorm lovers. You're certainly going to be treated to a sight, especially over the next couple of days if you're in the interior parts of the Northern Territory. And rainfall lovers as well. I mean, this is the first really good rainfall that I've seen on the forecast for wet season 2024-25 for the Northern Territory. At least you can see accumulations in excess of 200 millimeters between Katherine and Jabiru. And again, that is completely valid at this time, just considering the time of the year and the amount of thunderstorms that are expected to pipe up. I mean, this part of the Northern Territory into Arnhem Land around the Adelaide River area and across towards Daly River, they're going to be seeing at least 30 to 50 millimeters every day for the next 5 days. And if you do the math on that, 50 times 5, you're looking at up towards 250 millimeters. They'll miss a couple of days of thunderstorms, of course, but just in terms of the stagnant nature of these pulse thunderstorms that do blow up, the rainfall accumulations there are going to quickly add up. And you can see in terms of the soil moisture values throughout the course of this week that we're expecting to see some saturated soils by this weekend and into early next week across interior parts of the Northern Territory, extending in towards Queensland and New South Wales. So looking like a very wet picture across the eastern half of Australia, that's for sure, and even some good values across the western half as well. Pretty much all around Australia, above average soil moisture anomalies are expected to materialise by this weekend. Fantastic to see, because we have had quite a dry start to the wet season compared to what the forecast was suggesting. I mean, for a lot of locations, the forecast was completely bang on, but especially for parts of far northern Queensland, it has been a bit of a slow start at this time. Still though, nothing out of the ordinary, and no one is falling behind at this time, which is fantastic to see. It's been a below average start in terms of the tropical cyclone situation as well, but we do have a little spin up beginning north of the Cocos-Keeling Islands here outside of West Island. It's been slowly trying to pick itself together in West 96S over the last couple of days, and it has finally got a Bureau of Meteorology designation, Tropical Low 01U. It's still not got a forecast track map but this time, but we are expecting this system to continue to wrap itself up over the coming couple of days, and it could become a fully fledged tropical cyclone by sometime on Thursday, probably around Thursday afternoon. The Bureau of Meteorology giving it now an even 50-50 chance, and just considering the forecast as well and how this system has done, I would be on the side of this system's more likely to become a tropical cyclone than it isn't likely to become a tropical cyclone. You can see it here on Thursday, just as it's about to leave the Australian area of responsibility. It looks like it attains Category 1 tropical cyclone status here, so certainly something that's going to be worth watching. Definitely no threat to land either, but it could become the first Australian tropical cyclone throughout Thursday night into early Friday morning before it weakens off by Friday evening and into Saturday morning before drawing away from Australia once again. But like I said, absolutely no threat to land at this time. Just an interesting feature to have a look at on the forecast here. And it's taken a pretty hokey-pokey track as well. But yeah, in terms of this system, I would be surprised if this didn't get named into Australia's first tropical cyclone. I actually need to go and read all the names for this tropical cyclone season, probably drill them into my head, because as you can probably tell, I don't have them in my head right now. But you can see this is, just based off this forecast here, more likely to become a tropical cyclone than it isn't likely to become a tropical cyclone. The Axis G3 being pretty weak on this system, actually, all things considered, which is the Bureau of Meteorology's own forecast model, so they're actually not expecting too much from this system. But the Eastern BEF model, however, really going to town on this tropical cyclone, which is interesting to see. And in terms of the much more longer range forecast as well, in terms of more spin-ups that we're expecting into early December, there isn't an awful lot on the forecast here, but I also would just like to say that this kind of enhanced wind across the Solomon Sea, extending in towards the Coral Sea, that's something that I would like to watch in terms of rainfall. So we'll keep a close eye on that over the coming couple of days. But on that note, it's gone for long enough, this video, so thank you so much for sticking around to this point in the video. If I've left any questions unanswered, then please do let me know in the comments section down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But that has been all from me today. A special shout out to the channel sponsors. Their names are on screen right now, and I will catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.